It all boils down to the self-concept that we have of ourselves, our self-image, who we believe we are and who do we believe we're becoming and what we believe we deserve from the world. Like all of these things starts with who we believe we are in the present moment. And all of this can be changed like that, just by making the conscious decision to do so. And then to start auditing certain things that we do that are essentially lowering our perception of ourselves. Now, when you have a higher perception of yourself and who you believe you are and what you believe you can do in this world, and you start to truly believe it, you know what I mean? Almost like drinking the Kool-Aid of your own like beingness in a way. It kind of sounds kind of crazy, but when you really start to do that, it kind of creates a self-fulfilling prophecy where becoming more charismatic and being more magnetic and attractive kind of just happens naturally rather than trying to be charismatic. Trying to be is different than actually being that. And so the first thing we have to establish is a new self-image, essentially. It's about changing our viewpoint, our vantage point about how we look at ourselves, essentially. And the first thing we have to do is we need to create a new self-concept. The first way that you need to start looking at yourself from here on out is that you are a high status individual. You are a high status individual. Now, some people, they hear the word status and high status and they first start thinking of Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Gucci t-shirts and designer jeans and 1 million followers on social media and being famous and being a celebrity. That's what they believe status is. Now, those are attributes of external status. However, understand that the word status comes from the word state. State is basically the beingness of a person. So what is the state of being that a person is operating on, essentially? Are you operating from the beingness of a high status individual or a low status individual? This is what controls essentially how we essentially carry ourselves on the day-to-day and how we communicate to people, how we walk, how we ask questions, how we project our voice, how we just have this thing about us, the je ne sais quoi. The people who are very confident and charismatic, they're thinking something differently about themselves than people who aren't. They just think differently. They carry themselves differently. It's because they view themselves differently. And so in order to become more charismatic, you have to start viewing yourself from the perspective of a charismatic person. And a charismatic person and an attractive person who believes that about themselves, they believe inherently that they are a high status individual, regardless of the validation of what the world is telling them. A lot of times people are waiting to carry themselves as high status because they believe they need a Gucci label, 1 million followers, they need to be famous, they need to be a celebrity, they need to have higher rank at the business that they work at. They think they need these external things. And in a lot of ways, that can give you the perception of status, higher status, but true core confidence comes to a foundational belief about who you are. And when you establish that, you understand that you don't need external validation from the world to have confidence and charisma and to believe in yourself. You don't need any of those things to start there. And so from the jump, no matter where you are in life, the first thing we have to start viewing ourselves as high status individuals. You're a higher status individual. Because when you start believing that about yourself, it's going to control and basically dictate the way that you talk, how you carry yourself, how you communicate, what you believe you can achieve in the world, what you believe you deserve from the world. Now, a lot of people, they're not aware of this, and a lot of people are essentially viewing themselves from the perspective that they're a low status individual. And when you have this paradigm of being a low status individual, you're gonna believe that you deserve less from the world. And if you believe you deserve less, you're probably not gonna take the actions or carry yourself in a way that would attract you more from the world. You're not gonna do that. So what happens is we create a self-fulfilling prophecy where we're constantly basically being like reflected the reality of how we perceive ourselves from the jump. And so when we believe ourselves as people that are as low status individuals, you believe you're low status, and maybe that will control your confidence. If you lack confidence, if you lack low self-esteem, or excuse me, if you lack self-esteem, if you don't carry yourself like confident, you don't believe that about yourself, it's because subconsciously you believe that you're a low status individual in society without you realizing it. A lot of people don't know that because the concept of status, they think of the external qualities, and I'm talking about the biological aspect of status. Status comes down to how you view yourself, the paradigm in which you are living your life. And so in order for us to improve our status, or excuse me, our confidence or charisma, we have to change the self-image of ourselves, and that will dictate how we carry ourselves in the world. You will carry yourself more charismatic. You will carry yourself with more confidence. And it's almost like, you know, when people say thinking highly of yourself, it's so important to think higher of yourself and to think as high as you possibly can of yourself. And the real magic is when you're able to do that and still be humble with your approach with people. And so when you believe that you're a higher status individual, excuse me, I got like something in my nose. When you believe that you're a higher status individual, you're gonna believe that you deserve more from the world. You're gonna believe that, you know, you're charismatic. You're gonna believe that you're likable. You're gonna believe all these things. And this is what creates the self-fulfilling prophecy. This is essentially the self-fulfilling prophecy.